Good morning, Ralph Galahouse here. Plant seeds carefully. Today, we are going to focus on creating an abundant life. And what does that mean to you, creating abundant life? If you have questions in the audience, type in the bar/Q and then your question, and it'll pop up to the left. I have an open seat, so feel free to join in and join in the discussion. So, Plant Seeds Carefully came about after reading Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. In Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon talks about our minds are just like fertile soil. The fertile soil has a job to do, and that is to grow the seed. No matter if the seed is a good seed or a weed, its job is just going to grow that seed. So likewise, our minds, our thoughts, our words, our physiology, we grow those seeds. What we focus on, what we think about, we bring about. So throughout our life, it is easy to be focused on things that are around us. I mean, it catches our attention. So therefore, that's where our focus goes. So naturally, when we listen to the news, different topics on there, a lot of media today, Facebook, a lot of comments about political beliefs and political parties and the negativity that goes back and forth. Where our focus goes, our energy goes. So Plant Seeds Carefully is what we think about, we bring about. What are the thoughts in our minds? And we have to have the intention, the control over these thoughts to direct the life that we truly want. Beginning of the year, I outlined just some basic, thoughts of how I want my day to go. What do I want to give my intention to? And I start out with a day, and this is something that is I found to be so important in my life, is gratitude. Be grateful. Before I get out of bed in the morning, I start counting my blessings. I think of about 5 things that I'm grateful for that day. It's nice and chilly here today, so a nice warm bed. Wow, I am blessed that I have the warm bed to sleep in. It's comfortable. The house is warm. I'm breathing. Good gosh, I'm breathing. May 9th, 2006, I had an automobile accident where I had punctured and collapsed lungs, and I couldn't breathe. So, it gives you a whole new appreciation for each little breath of air that you have the opportunity to breathe. When it's gone, it's gone. Fresh, clean water to drink. That is something that a lot of people do not have. It is a delicacy that we take so for granted. But when we run out of water, we can learn to appreciate that. So my day starts with 5 things to be grateful for before I get out of bed. And then once I get out of bed, each step that I take out of my bedroom, I make a practice of saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. It helps me set my mind in the state of gratitude, an attitude of gratitude that therefore when my day moves forward, I've already got a lot of stuff to be thankful for. Years ago, I would wake up And my mindset, my mind shift was to, oh my gosh, it's that time. I need to get up. Wow, another day. It was a very negative, challenging mindset that did not allow me to live a beautiful, abundant life. So I haven't changed that. Haven't changed that mindset of being pessimistic about the day to a day of gratitude. It just totally shifted because a lot of my days back then did not go well. It seemed like different things came up throughout the day. My focus was not on the beauty of life, not what I was wanting to attract, but it was on the things that I didn't want to attract. But because I asked myself those questions throughout the day, in the beginning of the day, that, oh my gosh, it's time to get up already. It's going to be a struggle a day. All that negativity just led into a very negative day. So therefore, where my energy went, that's where my focus went, that's where my energy went. And when I learned to be grateful, it definitely changed. The second thing that that helped me create an abundant life was to forgive. When someone else does me wrong, it's sometimes it's human nature to want to lash out and get even. There's times when people cut you off on the highway and you hear road rage. What does that really accomplish? What does that accomplish when someone lashes out at you and you lash out back at them? And you get into this bickering, this argument. Where's your energy going? I've heard a story that it really, I think, sums us all up. There were two people walking out in the woods, and they both got struck by some very poisonous snakes. The one person grabbed the knife and ran out after the snake as it was slithering away, because that person was going to get even with that snake. That person was going to kill that snake. But in the process of running out after that snake, that person pumped all that poisonous venom through their bloodstream, and it became their demise. The other person who was struck by the poisonous snake simply sat down and cut out the venom, and went on to remove all that poison out of the system. And by doing so, by removing all that poison out of the system, the person healed. He was able to go on. He let that negativity, that harm be what it was. He didn't take that and make that harm, let's get even. His energy, his focus did not go back at getting even. His focus went at healing himself. How can one heal themselves when an event happens? Now let's think about it. When somebody says something negative to you, lashes out at you, why do they really do that? Oftentimes people will lash out at you because they have something going on inside them. They're often not angry at you. They're angry at themselves. So they vent this anger. They lash out, and you can get involved in the game. You can get involved in that anger, that resentment, but my gracious, what is that going to do? That is just going to put you on that same level. That's going to put you in their mind thought. And then what's going to happen? You're going to end up going down a road that is not going to get you where you'd like to go. You know, as I go through this, if somebody has questions, comments, if somebody would like to jump in the seat for more discussion, feel free to do so. Just if you have a question, type /Q and then your question, and it'll pop up, and it will. I'd love to hear your questions, your comments, and your thoughts, and also like to welcome everybody that has joined. But moving on to another thing that I found very, very helpful and useful in my journey, of creating the life, an abundant life, is find good. Find good in things that happen to us or around us, not to us, but around us. We experience life, and in that mindset of plant seeds carefully, there are times when, no matter how careful a gardener is, there's going to be weeds. There's going to be things that come up that you don't want to come up. For example, in my garden, I like to rotate the vegetables. And, 1 year I'll plant tomatoes in a certain area, and usually some tomato seeds remain and fall into ground, and the following year I have volunteer tomato plants. Now, what is the definition of a weed? A weed is a plant growing where it shouldn't be. It's not that tomato is a bad plant. It's just growing where it shouldn't be growing. So, let's think about the events that are going on in our life that we call struggles and adversities. Sometimes those are really not bad things. They're just things that are happening at maybe a bad time, or maybe they're happening for us to learn a lesson, to give us some direction. And I've also learned that in life, when one has to take a detour, when we have our goal, our vision of what we want, and there's a roadblock, sometimes we got to take a detour around it. And most times, the most beautiful scenery is found on detours. So sometimes those events, that negativity in our life, I firmly believe that all the negativity, we can turn it into good and learn a lesson. The question from Johnny, how do we deal with wanting abundant life and not yet seeing the manifestation? That's a very, very good question. And one of the things that I think, that I personally feel that has helped me see that to produce that manifestation is the very first key that I started talking about. The first thing I do in the morning when I wake up is think of 5 things before I get out of bed that I'm grateful for. And, when my feet hit the floor in each step, I say thank you. It gives me a mindset of that I'm blessed. I've got things to be thankful for. And when we are wanting an abundant life and not seeing the abundant life, it's simply our focus. I was on another blab a couple days ago, and someone had commented about they're wanting more money. They were wanting to make a lot more money than they're currently making. And they grew up in a family that did not have much money. And I asked the question, Did you have food on your table? Do you remember different holidays or birthdays or different celebrations with the family? Do you feel that your parents loved you and took care of you and did those things for you? And the answer was yes. And I asked, isn't that being abundant? Isn't that being blessed? Sometimes you see, I think society puts so much emphasis on having money, and that money is the end all to everything. I would venture to say, you guys, you don't want money. You don't want the actual physical money. What good does it do to have a room filled with $1,000 bills? You got all this money, but if you're not happy inside, if you do not feel the abundance and the blessings in your life, that money is not going to help you. I would venture to say that what you want is not the money. You want that emotion that you think money is going to represent, what money is going to bring to you. How often have we thought about and worked to go out and get a new car or a new house or something, something new that we're wanting. I see that so often in people having relationships. They go from one relationship to another because they had a different person in their life that they would be happier. And think about it. You have to be happy with yourself. You had to feel that blessing in your own life before you can move on to be happy and be happy with others. So the question, how do you deal with wanting an abundant life and not yet seeing the manifestation? It goes back to changing your focus. Finding little things to be grateful for. Like I said, a simple, clean drink of water. Waking up in a warm bed. My gracious, how there's so many people that are living on the street that are lucky to have a cardboard box to sleep on, and yet we wake up with covers in a comfortable bed in a warm house. We can get up and use a restroom, have coffee or have water. We are so blessed, but yet when we focus on just the little things that we're not accomplishing, that we don't think that we're accomplishing, the things that we think are going to make us happy, when that becomes our focus, our end all, we're not going to be happy. Where our focus goes, our energy goes. So thanks for that question. Hopefully I answered. If I don't answer to your liking, I'm just being brutally honest. So if anyone else has a question or would like to jump in the seat and talk about this, I would love to have more of a conversation to that. So another point, leave the struggle. Leave the struggle. Sometimes it's so easy to focus on some event that we think is holding us back. Some event that or something that's going on in our life, whether it be a relationship or a career or lack of money. Leave that struggle. For example, I think Eckhart Tolle talks about if you have more bills than you have money, then you write the checks out for the bills that you can afford to pay, and set aside the others. Not that you're not going to pay them. It's just that, if you continually focus on, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough money, that's where your energy goes, so then what we're going to attract more in our life is more of that struggle, more of that lack in our life. Question of gratitude is the utmost important, yet my focus is how to deal with the emotional letdown of not seeing what you are focused on yet be made fully manifested. If you'd like to jump in the seat and talk about that some more, I'd be happy to do so. So I thoroughly can understand your question and maybe help you work through that, because this is a something that you don't think about being grateful one day, then everything changes. It's like going to the gym. You start out and build those muscles slow, and you continually work at it. I ran 9 half marathons and a marathon, and I doubt very seriously at any of those events that the runners, when they shot that gun to start the race, that's the first time those runners went out to run. In life, what we want out of life, the goals that we have to give our attention to. We have to do some action to achieve those goals. So, the gratitude, yes, that is of utmost important. Yet, the focus, the dealing with the emotions are the stories we're telling ourselves. And this is kind of going back to plant seeds carefully, is our thoughts. What stories are we telling ourselves? And that those stories will help create the emotion. If we change our story, change our focus on what that story is. For example, when I was sharing about somebody cut you off in traffic, you can tell yourself a story that that you've been harmed, you're damaged, it's just you can continue to focus on that negativity, or you can focus on saying a little prayer for them. Welcome, Johnny. Welcome. Morning, Johnny.
Can you hear me?
Can't. Heard just a little bit.
Okay.
There you go.
Can't quite hear me. Okay. You can hear me now? Okay.
Yes. Thank you. Thanks for joining.
Well, thank you. How are you doing, sir?
Outstanding.
Outstanding. Well, I love it. I love it. I'm liking your topic this morning, and I understand your response in terms of that focus creates your reality, and that part of that focus needs to be rooted in your being grateful for all things, so that you can actually be able to attract the thing that you lack. I guess my consistent question is, how do you deal with that emotional letdown of wanting and needing and desiring something, focused on it, but it's still not come into your being the way that you want it? I think that what you said earlier is that a lot of times we can want the universe to develop the manifestation the way we want it, and possibly the way that it's going is because of how you focused even in the past to get to where you are right now. And I don't want to ramble, but I'm trying to answer this not only for myself, but with other people that I deal with consistently. Manifestation of what you want is the biggest frustration that people have.
You're crackling up a little bit. I think your earpiece is down, so your microphone is down, so you're crackling up a little bit on your on. But yes, thank you. if I understand you correct, one thing that I've heard a long time ago that kind of hopefully will bring a little clearer light on it. And yes, I have experienced the same thing. Sometimes I want something and I don't see it developing right away. I've heard this, the example of you go to a restaurant and you order your meal. The waiter leaves, and then the waiter comes back by. Do you continuously say, "Hey, waiter, I want this dish"? Next time they come by, "Hey, waiter, I want this dish." No, you make the order once, and you let it go. There's something about that, bringing that emotion up by always focus. Well, I don't have this yet. I don't have this yet. But if you can put that faith in your mind that it is on the way, and the universe, doesn't always snap its finger and there it is. A lot of times, if you misplace something, it's there. It's there, and you look and you look and look. And sometimes when you say, "That's it," I'm not going to look anymore. You turn around and you get out of that, oh my gosh, I lost it. And then it appears. And I find that, in my life, I love talking about this, and I love being an inspirational speaker. There are, what's interesting is like, around closely where I live, people know me. They know me as a realtor. Okay. They don't see me as a speaker. And I enjoy inspiring in others that change, to take a negative world and change it one thought at a time. Okay. And I want to do more of it. And then I got a little bit frustrated because the speaking opportunities didn't present themselves as quickly as I would like for them to. Well, when I let it go, I was involved in a morning call group that I spoke a couple different times, and I'm out here in the Midwest, just west of St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm on these calls and I'm sharing my thoughts. Well, someone on that call heard me and invited me to speak in New York at an I Inspire World Tour on this beautiful stage with cameras and sound equipment. And it's just like big time. Whoa. and the reason I'm making this point is that, it's easy to get caught up. You order something and the universe hasn't delivered it. You don't have it right there on your lap. But here again, where your energy goes, where your focus goes, your energy goes. So when you're focusing on my order isn't here, good chance it's like when you lose something and you diligently search for something and you don't find it, but when you can let it go and know that it's there and just like it will show up again, and sure enough, so it will, when you're not looking for it, it'll show up. So I guess my comment is don't let that energy, that emotion of it's not here, because it is here. And once you can have that in your mind, in your belief system that it is here, the universe knows when it's the right time to deliver it, and have that faith. Look at so many of the people that are very, very successful. They've gone through a lot of struggles. They didn't throw up their hands and say, it's not going to happen. Sylvester Rocky,
Stallone,
in the movie Rocky, he sold everything. He was going to be he had to play that part. He had to act in that part. And he had a dog that was very, very dear to him. And he was down. He didn't have anything. So he ended up going to a 7-Eleven and selling his dog.
Mm. Mm.
And that money was able to help to get that movie out there. And after he made this money, he went back to the guy he sold the dog to, and the guy wouldn't sell the dog back. and he worked and worked, and he finally figured out, and he ended up getting his dog back. But I guess here again, sometimes we have to be in such a place that we have to believe that this is my mission, this is my purpose, this is what I have to do. That we, there's no turning back. If you have a loved one and they're in danger, what would you do to protect them? Okay, and if you have this dream, this passion in life, what are you going to do to protect that? As I said, I am a very successful realtor, and a little bit about my story is May 9th, 2006. I was involved in a near fatal crash. I got T-boned. My driver's door was in the console, and I was in the driver's seat. And I woke up in ICU. I was in there for 10 days. And, having enjoyed motivation, inspirational, the Les Browns, the Tony Robbins, the Zig Ziglars, then on and on. I had worked my emotional, my mind muscles when I woke up in the ICU room with breathing tubes and feeding tubes. I did what was human, a natural thing. Me, myself, and we threw this pity party.
And all of them came.
Everybody, we were having a good time, crying and why is me and all that crud. But because of working that muscle, a thought came to me. What have I got to be grateful for now? And that thought presupposed I had something to be grateful for. And I moved, and all my broken ribs, that pain, even though I was on morphine or Demerol or whatever kind of drug they were giving me and out in La La Land half the time, something connected that, hey, I'm alive. Yes. I'm alive. And then my wife, my kids, friends were coming by to visit. The caregivers were giving me excellent care. All these things, the beautiful gratitude. And I went from that place in the ICU room. The accident was May 9th. July 29th, I did a 5-mile fair run. Whoa. The doctors told me before they released me, Ralph, we know you like to run, but with that punctured and collapsed lung, and you may want to think of a different activity than running. Because today, my time went from about, and I never was a rabbit. I was more of a turtle when I did these runs, but I enjoyed doing them because that's a goal I set out for myself. And I went from a 9-minute mile to more like a 12.5-minute mile. Okay. because my breathing capacity with the one good lung is minimized, is very very minimized. So, but nevertheless, I refused to give up because this was something I made it, that purpose made that desire for me to get up off out of the chair and go out and take action, do something. You have to, I like the thing of negative and positive. Negative, represents a line like this. A positive is like this. Well, think about it. Negative, you're lying down, you're not doing anything. Positive, you're getting up, you're taking action. So, we need negative and positive in our life. But yeah, when we have a purpose, when we have that desire and we have that belief, then we will, go on and do more and be more. And getting back to your question, the May 9th, 2006 was the accident. I didn't go back and run a full or half marathon until 2012, because after I did that 5 mile run, I had to have another surgery to remove my xiphoid process. And that surgery, I've got nothing but mesh. I don't have muscle holding together anymore. And that mesh in there, in that surgery, physically set me back more. But I didn't give up. I went out and I kept walking and did what I could. And in 2012, I did a half marathon, and I did it from 2012 to 2013. How I did the half marathon was I went out and I ran 4 minutes. I walked a minute so I could recover. And that's how I did the marathon. Ran, walk, ran, walk, ran, walk. However, when I was doing it, in order to run that 4 minutes, I had to slow my comfortable pace down, and it just wasn't gelling. It just wasn't comfortable. But I did the whole half marathon. The following year, I thought, I'm doing this for me, and I'm going to do what's comfortable. And so I changed it to 3 minutes running, 1 minute walking. And before, I was running 4 minutes and walking a minute. Do you know that I finished the following year 20 minutes quicker?
Mm.
Think about that in life. Sometimes when we can get ourselves in a pattern that is comfortable for us, and let go of our ego of like, well, I got to finish in this time. I got to be this person, because you're comparing yourself to other people. A lot of these runs, there's people from Kenya that run, and they run 2-3 times faster than I. And
Mm-hmm.
why compare yourself to another person? You've got to live life for yourself, and you got to love yourself and be, who you are, and not just, living for somebody else. So, going back to, point number 4 that I have in my focus this year, leave the struggle. Don't get caught up in that struggle. And I found that I'm a person of faith, and Eckhart Tolle said something that just kind of opened the door and opened my mind to struggle. He said he walked into this chapel, and in this chapel, this old chapel, he's seen this image that he's seen thousands and thousands of times. And that was the image of the crucifix, that Christ on the cross. And think about it. If Jesus hadn't come down on earth, if he didn't experience all that pain, all that suffering, all that anguish, all that turmoil, we wouldn't have that beautiful resurrection. So what I guess I ask myself, what am I going through life that is more difficult than that? And look at the beauty that's on the other side. So when I shared about the automobile accident, and I look back at that time as a blessing. And as a realtor, the market, the real estate market, was very, very challenging. And I had experiences that I never thought I would have with the funds. And kind of going back to your question, that emotion of, and sometimes it's hard to walk your talk, really hard to walk your talk when when there's a lot more month than there is money coming in.
Mm.
And but here again, I don't look back and blame the economy. I look back and look at what was my focus, where was my energy, and I realized that my mindset was listening, to the darn news that, this negative report, this negative report, this negative report. So that's where all my, my focus and all my energy was going on that negativity. And once I was able to shut that stupid news off and all that negativity, then, lo and behold, my life started changing. Different things started happening, and this is going to sound, if there's another realtor that tunes in, they're going to think you're nuts. You're nuts. But I don't worry about where my next sale is going to come in or what, what's going on in the market. I just have that faith that, number one, I'm out here to give service. I'm out here to give service and people first. And I continuously focus on what my passion, what my mission in life is. And it always seems that people keep coming in, and I keep having abundant blessings of income coming in. So, I just, like yourself, have times where it's like, why isn't this working? Why can't I get this to? But I changed my focus on why it isn't coming, but believing that it is there. So.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning. So I can listen about you're talking.
What was your question?
Okay, this is first time I visit this website. Okay, my name is Muhammad.
Yes.
I need to learn English. I need to listen about you speaking. Okay.
Okay.
So, yes, that's it. We can talking about thinking to learn about me. If you want, yes.
Ralph, let me say something real quick. What you said earlier, I think that the biggest takeaway that I received was that when I placed that order for the steak or for the fish or whatever I want.
Hold your mic up a little bit closer.
Can you hear now?
Some noise about the mic.
Yeah.
Can you hear now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You hear? Okay. My question is, or my statement is, when I make that order to the universe and find myself waiting for it to come out, I'm hungry, but I'm waiting for my steak to come out. They're in the back preparing it. They're cooking it the way I ordered it. And as I'm waiting, I have to realize that the order has been placed and everything is being prepared for the delivery of that order. And I just have to wait and anticipate.
You were breaking up a little bit, and he had a lot of background noise there too. But yeah, when you place your order to the universe, sometimes you got to be patient. You can't. There's no sound. You have no sound for some reason. There's no sound, John. There's no sound. We can't hear you, Johnny. Johnny, you may want to refresh. You want to refresh your and then come back in. I love Blab. It's a great platform, but sometimes there are definitely technical issues that that is things we just have to overcome. Johnny, you may want to just refresh your browser. While Johnny's doing that, kind of wrap up on leaving struggles, because when we focus on that struggle, that's what we're going to continue experiencing life. Is that that struggle is going to keep showing up in our lives, and that's what we're going to experience is more struggle in our lives. So, welcome, Johnny.
Welcome. Can you hear me now?
Yes, very good, very good. But that's just typical Blab. There's times that I've experienced it on different Blabs where people have to refresh. So, you want to ask your question again or comment?
It was a comment question. You mentioned that, and I think that this is probably brilliant. You said you go to the restaurant, you sit down, you order your food, and you wait for it to come. You don't, every time the waiter comes by, flagging down and say, "Where's my food?" You have to realize that your order has been made and it's being prepared for you at the best possible way. In the kitchen, they're cooking it. They're late. They're doing everything so that when they bring it out, your order is going to be exactly what you wanted. And so you just have to just wait and anticipate for the awesomeness that you're getting ready to receive. That is a brilliant concept.
Well, and sometimes it's hard to live it though too.
Especially when you're hungry.
Yes. Yeah. So, yeah, that's I'm glad that I was able to make that. And typically I do the Blab for about an hour, and we got about 12 minutes, but I've got a couple more things on here that I kind of like to just brief on, and we can love to keep the conversation going. Number 5 on my list is contribute. When in life you live in abundance, it's easy to give, and you can give a smile, you can give a kind word. If you're in traffic, you let somebody in, or you can make a monetary donation or contribute by getting on some worthwhile cause. I'm currently the president of Habitat for Humanity because I believe in that American dream of owning your own home. So something about when you give something away, it tells you that you're abundant, you're blessed, you have more than enough for yourself, that you want to go out and give to others, to give them blessings as well. And there's magic in that contribution and giving, and if you don't have pockets fulls of money at this time, don't beat yourself up. You can give, you can do something to give back to the universe for all the blessings that you've received, and I don't go out, I like I said, I'm a person of faith, but I don't go out and recite Bible verses and things like that. I believe that I can share what I want to share just out of human experiences, that my personal human experiences, because sometimes those stories resonate higher than just reading a script.
You come to sermon rather than giving it all the time.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, and that's a good.
I guess what I'm saying is I'd rather live it. I'm not trying to shove down anybody's throat. If someone is not a person that believes in God or the higher power, so be it. But if I can share some ideals, some things that bring them closer to that type of living, let them believe what they want to believe. But if I can change their thoughts to live the way I feel God has asked me to live, if I can bring them closer to doing that without putting God or the universe or the mighty power in it, I'm not ashamed of him, but I'm just saying, there's less resistance, to those types of comments and things. So, number 6 is move forward rather than reverse. Do what we like to do, is enjoyable, easy, and make time. Find a way to change your focus for less than desirable tasks to create joy in doing such a task. In other words, what I'm saying is, have fun. Just enjoy, life. And there's times when we have our tasks that we don't want to do, but how can we make them fun? How can we enjoy that? I remember growing up on a farm, we had a stable that we had to bark the manure out of. And I was the youngest, and it seemed like I always got that chore. But when you can make a game of it, I would dig patterns out and just, make like a puzzle and just kind of have silly fun with it. What things in life do you have to work with and accomplish? When you can have fun with it. I know Tony Robbins talked about, he was gone for a couple of weeks, and he came home and he had all this list of things to do. And his first thought was, oh my gosh, I've been on the road and I've got, I got all these people to call back, and it's just like, it was kind of overwhelming. But then he said he decided to hop in his hot tub, grab his phone, and enjoy himself and return the calls from his hot tub. So think about when you have a task that you don't want to do. When you have a task that you don't want to do, how can you make it fun? How can you enjoy it? I remember my mom passing, and she was in hospice, and she was at our home, at her home, and as she was passing, my dad had a habit. It wasn't maybe a good habit, but when he was ready to go someplace, he would get in the car and start blowing his horn. And with that, he, it just became a joke. Well, when my mom was fading in and out, I said, Mom, Dad's blowing his horn. Dad had passed prior. So, just make fun of, the things that you experience in life. A question, you are dropping wisdom. How do we present this knowledge to the youth without beating them up to receive it? I would love to speak, and it's one of the things that as a speaker, to do a speak for money, a speech for money is fine, but I enjoy helping people change, and like I said before, changing the world one negative thought at a time. So if you have an opportunity, you can find me on Speakers Match. If you type in, and I can type that link in.
Okay. Hello.
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 Hello. Yes.
Yes, it's me, Muhammad.
Yes.
So I need to talk to you about English, okay?
Yes.
Yes, that's it. My accent is very bad accent, okay? Because I am in Middle East.
Uh-huh.
That's it. So we need to talk about anything because I am a famous man in my country. I am hip hop man. Okay, I need to learn in English.
Well, this
Yeah.
program is about
Yeah.
creating an abundant life, and love to help you some way learn English, but
Uh, yes.
I'm not sure that this is the proper platform to do that. Would love to hear your comments, and I applaud you for
Uh-huh.
your expertise and what you're doing in your country.
Yep.
That is awesome, and
Yep. So I have motivation about in this in this month. Okay, so I need to some motivation. Okay, so I can talk to you about myself. Okay.
okay.
Okay, I am Muhammad. My older is 22. Very bad English, I know.
Okay.
So yes, I need to leave smoking, okay, but I can't. So what I can do about this?
On your smoking, any habit that one has, I have to ask a question. Why are you doing it? What are you wanting to gain from
Yes.
that habit? And it is easy to fall into certain patterns. There's people that fall into depression simply by letting their shoulders drop and putting their head down. Their physiology, puts them in a state of depression. What does smoking, what is smoking?
Yes.
Why do you do smoking? I guess. What enjoyment does that provide for you? If you could change
Yes.
your thought and change your focus on smoking, and I'm not an expert in that field, but I've heard different things about the statistics on how bad of a health problem it becomes for smokers and their lungs and things like that. If you can start
Yes.
changing your focus of that enjoyment of puffing on a cigarette to
Yeah.
seeing yourself dying of cancer,
Yeah, I
all
know.
that pain that you cause yourself, and not only yourself but your loved ones around you, that pain
Yeah.
that you're going to endure if you continue on this act. And when you can start making that pain so deep that you look at a cigarette and you don't want to touch it.
Yes.
It takes practice. It definitely takes practice. But then to really put extra emphasis on that, look at yourself and look at yourself in the future years.
I know. I look at in my future, but I am a student. I am so I can't read it. I can't read. I think about cigarette. I need to smoke. I need to, But the
Why do you smoke? Do you smoke because other people around you smoke?
yes, my friend smoking. Yes,
Okay, so
I think.
is it possibly what is called the ego? You do it for ego
Use,
to be accepted in your peer group? You know,
you know, yeah. But my friend, you not smoking, you're not a man. Okay, so you smoke, you are a gentleman. That's it.
yeah, that is you're doing it for ego purposes rather than for what you know. You have to learn to love yourself first, and then by loving yourself, you won't live a life for another person. You've got to love yourself and be yourself, because you only have one life, and everybody else's life is taken already. So live your own life. Good morning, welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
Do you have a comment you would like
Yeah.
to share with us?
Good morning.
No, I'm just listening. So it's an interesting issue to talk about. So he's smoking because people around them smoke. Oh, it's terrible. I just listen, so I'm getting pressing with that.
But yes, it's something that I've learned to do is love myself. And,
of course.
And Les Brown made something that really impacted on me. It's none of your business what other people think about you. It's none of your business what other people think about you.
I think you don't have to prove anything for anyone. So
yes, definitely. And when you can change that focus, you can figure out why. And that's the point I was trying to get at. Dig in to why are you doing this? And oftentimes it's the pleasure, and it might be the ego of being accepted in a group, in a peer group. But when you can be yourself and look in the mirror and be truly happy with yourself, then you don't have to go down that road. You can be the leader. You can blaze that trail rather than just follow along with everybody else.
So the solution about me, okay, the big solution is I live in my group, leave my friend smoking. That's it, or I can do anything, do something about this problem. I hate myself now, but I can't live.
I'm not saying that you need to leave a group, but going back to Les Brown, he talks about when two people are out walking, one will pick up the pace to match the other, or the other one will slow down. And it is so important.
Yeah.
I went to a Tony Robbins Unleash the Power Within event, and I connected with people, and we do morning calls, and we do different things that we stay focused on that. And it's kind of like in Napoleon Hill's book, The Mastermind Group. What the people that we associate with will raise us to a different level. And by no means, there are people in my family that are very negative people. Yeah. I don't push them out of my family. I associate with them, but that's not what I'm going to focus on when I want to become a public speaker. I'm going to find other speakers out there who are successful and who gain that knowledge and to help me rise up. Getting back to you. We can have people in our groups that they're exercise people. We go out in the morning, run in a running group. We can go out to a meeting and meet with people in a business group that sets certain standards. So getting back to your smoking, doesn't mean that you have to kick all your friends out, but it doesn't mean that you have to live their lives. You have to look at the beautiful life that you can live.
Thank you, sir. You genius, man. So, yeah. No, but I'm not thinking about your solutions. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
And one other thing I like to add is you don't go to the gym, work out one day, and you're fit for life. This takes a practice. This is constant. It's a mindset, and that's where I started asking, why do you smoke? If you can find a reason why to be smoke-free, and you go 7 layers deep, why? Well, I'm going to smell better around other people. Well, why? Well, I'm going to be able to breathe easier. Why? Because I'm a person that doesn't need that crutch. If you keep finding whys and then dig into, and I always call it putting the icing on the cake, is look at yourself, in the future, both ways. Look at yourself as a man, 90 some years old, and how withered and decrepitated, and wrinkled you see quite often a lot of smokers' faces, or see yourself being 90 years old, looking like you're maybe 60 years old, with a lot of strength, a lot of vitality. And for me, it's going out and still running in a marathon. Whatever is for you, find that reason why you want to go that way. And then from there, it's like when somebody offers you a cigarette and you see yourself, that wrinkled, old, frail person that's on oxygen, that can't breathe, and you can switch your mindset to being, even at 90, being young and vibrant, it's a lot easier decision.
So I talk to you, and I leave smoking. I want to success. Okay. So thank you.
Hey,
thank you, my lady. This.
Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Love to hear your comments, your feedback. The last thing on my list of creating an abundant life is be present. Be present in your life. Take time and give yourself 10-20 minutes a day just to clear your mind and be present. And think about, no matter what struggle you're going through. I talked before that about when I was in an automobile accident and I woke up in the hospital room, bed, in an ICU room. At that very moment, I could be grateful for that I was alive. So when you're in the middle of some type of turmoil, stop and think, at this very moment, I'm still alive. I'm, whatever it might be that we're going through at this moment, I'm okay. If you're writing out your bills for the month, and there's not enough money to make all those payments, think about, at this very moment, I'm okay. I have to deal with that. It's something I cannot avoid, but I have to deal with that. But right now, at this very moment, I'm alive. Everything is okay. And from that state of being present and realizing that, life is good. It is truly good that you're at this point in time, you are where you need to be, and you can move on from there. When you can be in the present and start creating gratitude for things and blessings that you do have, then more grateful gratitude and gratefulness will come your way. So that kind of wraps up a little bit of what my thoughts were for today, and I appreciate everybody who jumped on. Does anybody else have any more questions or any comments? Love to hear those. And I do this every Saturday morning at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time in the U.S. So the topic is plant seeds carefully. And I love the quote by Robert Louis Stevenson. He says, "Judge not each day by the harvest we reap, but rather the seeds that we sow." So when you get up and you look in the mirror and you look at that person that's looking back at you, don't beat yourself up because it may not be the person that you would like to be. Plant the seeds that need to be planted so you'll become the person that you want to be. And if you want to become more of a loving person, plant those seeds. Do acts of kindness, caring. If you want to be a person, a professional person in a career, what do you need to do? What education do you need? What experiences do you need to obtain to get that status? So plant seeds carefully, because the seeds that we plant today will be the harvest that we reap tomorrow. This is Ralph Gillihouse from Plant Seeds Carefully. You can find me on speakermatch.com/profile/Ralph Gillihouse. Have a great day. Any other questions? Bye.
Bye.